And we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Alex had the biggest night of his career. He's probably peaked officially. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to have a conversation. Or is it really a conversation? Because as the title says, is there really a debate when it comes to the credibility and the questioning of Pokemon card investing being real or not? We'll obviously jump into it today. But before we do so, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. If you want to get access to Pokemon Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! Flesh and Blood, and so much more at wholesale prices, make sure, of course, you join the link down in the description below to be a part of the wholesale program. If you ever got any questions or want to be a part of the community, please make sure to join our Discord. Link is also down in the description below. But Alex, do you want to kind of lead things off, have a conversation where this entire title is coming from?
Well, I actually do want to talk about the title. So as you guys know, this is on Eli's channel. I have absolutely no control over when he titles these videos. I just show up. No, man. It was a good night, dude. I mean, I just think it's one of those things where it's never going to end in the community, right? There's always going to be those debates, those questions. There's always going to be people on one side or the other, a lot in between. I think the only debate really is how content creators in the investing space handle themselves, handle their content, and like the debate on like when and where to get in and get out of certain products. But I don't think there's any real debate on if this stuff rises in value over time. I mean, obviously it does. If we didn't, we wouldn't be here. But yeah, I mean, I just think there's a lot to discuss right now with possible like movements and plays going on. So it's gonna be a good stream.
For those that don't know what you're referencing, do you kind of want to explain what specifically started this?
Oh, okay. So if you guys don't know J Love, I honestly didn't know him before this. He's I guess Australian Pokemon content creator. I guess he talks investing sometimes. He basically made a video, you know, saying like kind of like anti-investing stuff. He shouldn't be investing in this stuff. And then he actually at the end of the video called out people to respond to it. And so I was one of the people that made a response video because I had like 15 people share it to me in the Discord and ask me to. So I responded to it and it got back to him. And he basically like, you know, wanted to have people on the stream. So I reached out to go on the stream. It ended up being me, him, Pokey Office, Opossum Bud ended up there. Don't know how. A couple other guys. And then Cool Trainer Ryan hopped on like midway through. And so it really blew up. There was like 500 and something live viewers. It already has 5,000 views overnight, basically on that live. And yeah, it's a spicy topic, guys. You know, people feel very strongly one way or the other. Obviously, you know, I feel very strongly about investing, but I don't feel like as strongly enough to try to convince others or argue with people about if they should or not. Where, man, that chat, it was wild. Like you had people calling me, you know how it gets. But no, so that's where this whole thing came from.
Oh man. And I mean, is the conclusion, is it set in stone? Is it official? Do we know for certain that the debate has finished?
No, dude, you know how these things work. It definitely didn't come to any type of resolution. I think everyone still held on to their feelings. At the end, it was kind of nice. Like, I don't know if J Love ever really gave in, but you know, Cool Trainer Ryan, 100%, Opossum Bud even said it. Everyone else on the stream, Pokey Office, everyone kind of agreed that, hey, look, I don't know if I agree so much about comparing it to traditional investments or you should put all your money in this stuff. But yeah, if you want to throw some boxes or cases in your closet and you want to buy them at $80, $90, $100 and you want to wait 3 to 5 years, yeah, they're going to be worth more in the future. Everyone kind of agrees with that. I just don't think everyone kind of agrees with how you promote that and how you sell it against other investments type thing.
So what it sounds like you're telling me is it has less to do with the concept of investing and more to do with the concept of the people promoting it.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's a tale as old as time. You obviously see that a lot with the concept of like entrepreneurship. You see that a lot with the idea of cryptocurrencies and stuff. I mean, how many people are talking about wanting to promote being an entrepreneur? And most of the time, they're just trying to sell you some course that results in them telling you to do drop shipping. Like, it's very easy to see like how certain things will get a bad rap because of the people that represent it, even though it's not by choice. Like, literally, if it's one of those things where people make fun of individuals that put entrepreneur in their bio on social media platforms. They're like, oh, this guy's entrepreneur, he's just a drop shipper, like whatever, like he's not real. But it's so funny because when you think about the word itself, like just entrepreneur, there's very little meaning behind it outside of what it is, which is it's someone who wants to like have their own business. So it's funny to see how just certain words or key terms can kind of have that connotation with it based on the way it's been represented within society. And so that's kind of what you're seeing, at least in my belief, when it comes to Pokemon investing in general. Because let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Pokemon investing, obviously there are going to be certain picks that are going to be better than others. And sometimes those picks are going to be good because some individual has more information than other people on why they think it's going to be good. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like when it comes to Pokemon, we'll say sealed product in particular, it is deflationary and the value should in theory go up over time. Obviously, that doesn't mean that you can buy it on the top and then that's just going to be the best investment. But it does mean that when it comes to being right on Pokemon investing, it's a lot easier, I feel like, with sealed to be right than wrong. And so anyone can come on to create a YouTube video and then just hit like half the time, even if they're completely wildly off, because eventually the price is going to go up. It's like, I obviously was like, all right, I'm going to invest in a bunch of Sword Shield Era product. I thought I was going to miss completely on Battle Styles, but Battle Styles is now sitting at like 140, 150. And a lot of people picked it up in like the $70, $80. So it's like when you're wrong, you're right at some point, hopefully, is kind of the goal with this entire investing sphere.
Yeah, man. I just I even said it before the stream, like when we were all in the room beforehand. I was like, I don't know what we're all really doing here to discuss or debate, but I'm up for it, right? And you know, it was a lot of some things I expected, some things I didn't, directions I didn't see it going. But you know, when you think about it, it's like all the debates really come down to at the end of the day is what's going to happen in the future. And none of us know that, right? Like none of us know what's going to happen in the future. And I kind of compared it to like, okay, if someone, you know, asked a stock analyst, hey, what's NVIDIA stock going to do in 25, 26, 27? Like, what are their earnings going to be? Like, no one knows. And so it's like, all we're going to do is sit here and a bunch of people just give their ideas on what's going to happen to Pokemon in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It's like, we can all say that, but no one knows. And so it's like, what are we really doing here? You know, if you want to do something, bet with your dollars. If you think it's going to continue, put money into it. If you don't, sell everything. Like that's the best advice I have for you.
Dude, Alfred said he puts CEO on his resume since he technically is a business owner of TCG Player. I think that's so funny.
I remember when I was young, when I was starting out my first lawn care company, I put that on my business card.
Yeah. I'm CEO, baby. Woo!
Yeah, buddy.
Chief Executive Officer. Oh man. I'm
You ever see
owner
that
and
interview with
CEO.
Elon Musk where he's like, what did he put on his title? It was like I forget. He's like, yeah, all these titles are basically irrelevant. After all you need is like a president and someone else, and everything else they make up is just irrelevant.
Oh, 1000%. I talk about that with my wife all the time. I'm like, what should I say you do for business? And I'm like, you're technically an operations manager. Should I call you like COO, like chief operating officer? Like, what should I call you? And she's like, I don't give a crap what you call me. Just it doesn't really change things, right? Like I'm gonna do my same job. Whatever the title is whatever the title is. It's not coming with a pay raise if I'm called one thing over another. So, you know, which is funny because I'm like, I'm technically owner and CEO, but like, how does that doesn't mean anything really ultimately at the end of the day? Because you've got someone like Jeff Bezos, who obviously is the CEO of his company, if I'm correct, but he owns only like 16%. So he's not even like a majority shareholder of his own company that he started anymore. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's all that matters is how many shares or what percentage of the business you own at the end of the day.
I FOMO. I felt more comfortable during that live yesterday than the roast of Tom Brady. Oh, that's good, man.
Did you watch any of that at all?
I haven't yet. So because I was like preparing, getting ready for the live stream, I didn't want to start it because there wasn't really enough time.
I saw clips of it. Oh man, someone's Discord calling me. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I do want to watch it though. Probably watch it tonight.
I mean, I saw the clips seem to be funny, but I mean, I don't want to derail the conversation too much.
Nah,
But,
yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good.
but what was I gonna say? So on the topic of just Pokemon investing in general, obviously, I mean, I I feel like it really does have to boil down to the content creator more than the investment side, unless you look at it face value. Because we were talking about this a little bit before stream when it came to some of the singles and sealed product of vintage. I don't know if you guys have been following for the past, obviously, since 2020, but I mean, these unlimited cards were going crazy. These first edition cards were going crazy. And a lot of them have like seen retracements and have either bottomed out or are continuing to retrace. I mean, a good example of that is the Venusaur base unlimited. You saw the price go up to almost $6,000 and now it's sitting at around $900. Like that's a massive, massive, massive retracement. And so if you obviously told someone to go in at like $400 or sorry, $4,000, pick it up, they're obviously getting destroyed right now. But I feel like in general, when it comes to investing, and maybe this once again goes back to the original point of this whole conversation of people representing the hobby when it comes to Pokemon investing, we like sealed product and more specifically modern product because if you go and tell me right now, hey, I'm going to pick up a Scarlet Violet Era booster box for $90, you know that if it's going to have a floor, it's probably going to be around the $80 unless something happens catastrophically within the economy or within Pokemon as a whole. Because it's just, it has its floor. But if you go in and see a Venusaur run up from like I think it was like $500 all the way up to $6,000 and then say to yourself, where's the bottom? Where's the floor? There is no floor. It's not like you're buying this card at like a wholesale price. It's being pulled and valued by the market off of whatever it is the market decides it is. And so there's so much continuity, but also at the same time, not really, because and this is even a debate I don't want to get you in trouble, but you've had with other YouTubers about the discussion between vintage versus modern. And it just never really made sense to me because sure you can say like, oh yeah, modern's been around forever, so it's kind of more mature, but not really though. Like the volatility is still there. You just have to kind of play the edge, I feel like more so and what you know. And for me, that edge has always been very much the same as how can I get more information that is going to help me make plays? And the information I love to use the best is what is wholesale cost because that can ultimately help me feel comfortable in knowing a lot of items are not going to go below that. And hypothetically speaking, right, playing also rotation, knowing that there isn't possibilities of a card also, getting a reprint. Those are my two favorite things I like to look at when it comes to Pokemon investing, but you don't really see that discussed a lot within singles or more specifically vintage singles. So I don't know. It's weird because like, sure, you can have a debate is like they're an investing aspect of Pokemon, but almost as a whole, that's like bringing up the conversation on if collectibles in general have an investability aspect, which there's no denying that they do because that's just been how it is as old as time. You can look at, historical collectible memorabilia having to do with the world wars or just U.S. history or ancient history of the world or sports cards. I mean, there's so many things that are collectibles. Pokemon is a part of that collectability aspect, and obviously there is a part that's at play when it comes to the investing of it.
I think of a lot of it just boils down to ignorance, right? I think a lot of it boils down to, people that are against it haven't taken the time to actually like deep watch like enough content or actually like listen to what me or other people are saying. And look, yeah, there's definitely bad content creators, just like there's bad anything out there, right? And there's people that will pump things at their tops. And there's people probably saying to buy Venusaur or, any of the vintage cards back in 2020 at their tops. And just like there were people telling people to buy the Vivid Voltage Pikachu, or there's people saying to buy Battle Styles at 200. And there's always, and so when people, it comes from a place of a good place, right? These people have good hearts and they're trying to protect people who were listening to creators like that and not giving any nuance or any explanation on plays or investments. And so they see like that, they see the headline stuff and they're like, see, this is why investing's bad and Pokemon investors are bad. They get people crushed. But it's like, you know, when you just say Pokemon cards investment, you're just like, well, what do they mean? It's like, well, there's nuance, right? It's like, well, buying a base or a Scarlet Violet box at $80, $90, $100 is not as risky as buying like a brand new single card or slab, which is not as risky as buying an already appreciated box that's 3, 5, 10 grand, which is not as risky as buying a vintage card that had a pump and you don't know where it's on the dump. And like, maybe now it's not as risky, but it's like, there's a whole bunch of different discussions on when you can buy and when you can sell. And a lot of different risk levels. But yeah, I'm with you. It's like, if you're going to sit here and try to tell me that buying a brand new box at $80, $90, $100 and holding it for a certain amount of years is just like extreme risk level, and you shouldn't be investing in a kid's card game, it's all just collecting, it's all going to go to zero. It's like, you're just either burying your head in the sand or you don't want to know.
Well, because I get asked this question all the time in just my everyday life when people talk about my business. They're like, why is it that Pokemon cards have this inherent value? And it's the same reason that any collectible has any sort of inherent value to it. There is time, history, and nostalgia that's tied to certain items. And a lot of people, you know, you can make as much money as you want, but you can never get your time back. And it's the most valuable asset that you can have. And so finding ways in which you can have time through more or less like a capsule of an item that makes you feel nostalgic, that makes you feel like you're getting a piece of history, that makes you feel like a certain way, right? That is what brings the value of those specific items, right? There's reasons why certain people will choose certain sports cards over others because, hypothetically speaking, let's say that when they were a kid, they went to a sports game with their dad and they saw their favorite basketball player play live, and they now have a sentimental attachment towards that basketball player, and now they want to collect that basketball player's card, right? Or let's say that a kid, just relaying it to Pokemon now, grew up in '08 and Pokemon was during the Diamond and Pearl era, and that was something that they grew up with, and now they have sentimental attachment to it. It's like you can just look at the sentimental attachment that people tie to these things, and that's where the value is going to come from. Doesn't matter if it's Pokemon or any other collectible or anything in general. Like, people inherently tie sentimental value to things. I mean,
well, then to add on top of that, it's just human nature. You see it with every rich person out there. People just want things that others can't have. It's just the way it is. I used to sell for a little while, a small portion of my life, few months, Jaguars and Land Rovers. And it's like when you get like a special edition one in or something, you know, you just tell people that, like, oh, it's a special edition. There's only one, like however many thousand of these made. Oh, really? Okay, yeah, I want that. It's just like, why? It's the same exact car. It's got a little extra little things here and there. It's like, but they want it because no one else can have it. And it's the same thing as a Pokemon. It's like, even though there's 10,000, 11,000 Moonbryons and 10s, they know that, oh, well, there's millions of people that want this. I want to get it because they all want it. And now I have something everyone wants. It's human nature. It's not just Pokemon cards. It's literally anything in life. People want things not everyone can have.
I feel like that's one of the biggest allure of just not only rarity as a whole, but kind of what we're seeing right now with serialized cards. I mean, serialized cards have that popularity because there is that chase, there is that desirability for something that is rare, and having the possibility of being able to acquire that while no one else can is obviously extremely desirable. And that's why, too, with Pokemon sealed product in particular, as crazy as it sounds, some people will spend crazy amounts of money opening, hoping to chase the Pokemon, because the thrill that there is of pulling it yourself and being able to say that you acquired that rare card rather than going out and buying it. Obviously, some people can go and buy it, but like, for someone like myself, I would love to own every single, Pokemon from the Diamond, Platinum, Pearl era for like in a 10. But at the end of the day, for myself, it would be much more fun to go about it through opening the cards and grading it than it would be to go and buy it.
Yeah, and then Jimbo said the main argument was that it wasn't Pokemon investing doesn't work. It was the idea that Pokemon as a pop culture will fall out of, favor, and, how likely that is. And we talked before stream. I think the two main arguments last night, it wasn't as much against Pokemon investing. It was against Pokemon investing like channels or YouTubers. And then it was more against like the belief that it was going to stay. It's like no one refutes the data. They just don't believe the data is going to continue. Right. And so that obviously that's up for debate. Like I have no answer for that, but it goes back to what I said earlier. There's no one has an answer for that. And so what you have to ask yourself is what's more likely, that human nature changes, that just the world population no longer wants these cards, and it's just kind of like everything just completely drops off and no one wants to buy them. No one, but it's like you constantly hear everyone say, oh, if that drops to X amount, I'm going to buy, or, oh, I love them to be cheaper again so I can buy. Or, we have other generations coming up, just human nature in general. Much more people stay in their habits as they get more money, more disposable income. They put more into the hobbies they love. They don't just like reach a certain age and say, okay, I'm not going to enjoy my hobbies anymore. I'm not going to collect. And so when I look at that scenario, I think what's more likely, and that's what you do with investing. You say, what's more likely? I say it's a lot more likely for the next 10, 20, 30 years for Pokemon to remain in favor, a major pop culture collectible across the world. And our generation under us, or even over us, will continue to collect it and want to put their money to work there, just like other things have always been, just like comic books and just like sports cards, just like fine wines or art or watches and now sneakers. Like it's just another portion of that. And I think it's less likely actually for it to end in that amount of time. Now, 100 years from now, who knows? But guess what? None of us are going to care then.
Well, it's amazing to me too, because Pokemon is the #1 most valuable IP in the world. So to put a form of like belief that yes, like Pokemon investing is possible, but it's extremely risky because it could all end tomorrow, as if the Pokemon IP is just like a fluke. Like the Pokemon IP as a whole is owned by Nintendo, which is one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the entire world. So it's such a weird concept for me to kind of like think about when people say that. It's like if someone is going and investing in like Disney stocks because back when they bought Star Wars' IP, they felt as if the value of Disney was inherently going to go up, and therefore they had an attributable value to that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, whether you directly are investing in the collectibles or the stocks of the company that owns the IP, inherently there is, of course, going to be a risk that's applied to it, but it's not to say that it's going to be any different. Maybe that's a hot take to say, but inherently, I believe that if you have an IP that is owned by a company, if that company has a specific stock that is like attributes the value to the IP, and then you have specific product that is considered part of the collectible memorabilia of that IP, I don't see how they're vastly different from one another when it comes to an investable aspect from it. Obviously, one is considered more traditional, one is considered to be more risk adverse, I guess, because it's specifically you're investing in a company that owns an IP, not a specific IP, but ultimately, like, it's kind of more or less the same concept in my mind. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people like investing in Disney stock as a whole. It's because they like the idea of owning a portion of that IP in their mind.
Yeah, and I just think I don't know. I just think people think things happen faster than they do too. Like if Pokemon were to decline and go down, right? Think of all the businesses that are attached in every facet of the industry to Pokemon. Think of all the investors, how many collectors, how much money people have in this stuff. Like who would buy on the way down and keep the prices up? Like things don't, and this isn't Pokemon, this is any business in the world. Like, AI right now, think of how long we've had AI now and how long it's taking to be integrated, actually useful into like the whole system and all different businesses. Like things happen slow, right? And so even if people are right, Pokemon's going to die, it's like that doesn't happen in a year. It doesn't happen in 5 years. Like these things take time to go down. And that's why, like, when we're talking about 10, 20, 30 year time frame, like it sounds like a long time. That's very short amount of time in the business world and in the overall, how long it takes for like ships to sink in industries. And that's what makes me comfortable. It's like nothing goes down overnight like this. Not this big, right? This isn't MetaZoo.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's accurate. I mean, speaking of investments, I think it's still worth touching on. Obviously, not as the main topic for today, but let's just look at what's going on with Sword and Shield right now. I mean, we talked about it last week, obviously, and it's hard not to continue to talk about it because the prices just keep going up, right? What was the price of Lost Origin last week? Do you recall how much? I think it just broke 200, if I'm correct.
What's that?
Lost Origin.
225.
I know it was, but I was saying it was like 200 last week, correct?
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you're looking at lowest listed 225 right now. After that, it's 230.
Battle Styles 135. Confirmed sale.
Is it 135? I thought it was higher.
I know there was a confirmed sale at 135.
Confirmed sale at 135. I'll have to pull it up here, but I mean, where are we seeing Lost Origin? What's your thoughts?
I think it's going to be the number 2 set. I said it when it went out of stock. I think it'll surpass Fusion Strike. I could see it in the high 200s. I don't know if it'll hit 3. I could definitely see it in that 260 to 280 range by the end of the year, though.
Man, you know what's crazy? That feels like a conservative take.
I honestly,
isn't that wild?
Here's the thing. Everyone thinks I'm like the most wild, crazy person. Most things I say are actually pretty conservative within the Pokemon space. It's just anything in Pokemon is seen as like crazy risky.
Yeah, lowest listed is 135. Recent sale sold for 139. And that sold yesterday. So it's, I don't know, man. That's just wild to me.
Brilliant Stars is surprising me a little bit. It's moving a little slower than I thought. I will.
know that's definitely, well, okay. So it's not moving as slow since it went out of stock. Obviously, it went from 160 to 185. So it is moving, which is nice to see. But it definitely felt like it took longer than it should have for it to just move in general. I mean, Silver Tempest. Are you seeing what Silver Tempest is at right now?
It's getting to that point where it's almost as good to buy on Pokemon Center here soon.
I mean,
Pokemon Center is weird though.
I feel like it's at that point now. Its lowest listed is 160 right now. It's selling last sale was 160 for Silver Tempest.
Yeah, and the whole thing with Pokemon Center only giving quantities of 4, really strange. Don't know if the supply is just really low. It's definitely something to watch out for. I mean, if you haven't got in yet.
Oh man. I mean, is it too crazy to say that once these prices continue to go up for Sword and Shield that it's going to move on? I mean, what's the next move on? Are we going to start talking Vivid and Darkness?
I could see it going to Scarlet Violet before it goes to those, honestly.
Really? I don't know if I would say that. I don't know. I feel like it'd be around both at the same time.
It'll be both. Yeah, it'll be both. You'll have to go in one. You know, it's gonna be nice actually, because I think we'll start to see the market split up a little more, because it's all like kind of converged right now on all alt arts and Sword and Shield alt art sets. I think after that it will start to kind of branch off. Like some will go to the earlier sets, some will go to Scarlet and Violet, some will go elsewhere. I think it'll be nice.
I mean, Paldea Evolve's moving. Lowest listed is 113. You take that one sale of the individual, and the next listed is 120 for Paldea Evolve after that. So it's moving. Like the prices are moving
too. The cases are selling.
Huh?
The cases are actually selling really well too.
Really?
I think they're like high 6s.
I'm telling you, man, I would be stunned if that product didn't get reprinted sometime going into the winter time or fall. It's going to get reprinted. Agreed. And I don't know, man. Like,
now let's talk about 151. I'm actually
151 single price is dropping.
I'm surprised. I didn't think we would see this until we got reprints. We have not got reprints yet, and we're starting to see Blastoise under $40. We have Venusaur under $30. Obviously, Charizard's fell under 100. I mean, it's kind of dropping across the board. What do you make of that? The sealed product's still strong.
It's weird for me because it's one of those things that it's surprising that it stayed as strong as it did, because I understand there's like a demand for 151, but considering you had a large supply that came onto the market with a very minimal correction and then another wave come out or another reprint, whatever you want to call it, but our distro had us place in like orders for it. And just now, after all the supply seems to have started to dry up on the market, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, we had one distributor at this point that was one limit per week of a case of 151 UPCs. They were the last distro, and they just last week, or just this week, sold out of 151. Like, I don't know of any distros that are selling 151 product right now.
So what's the deal with all the supply like pouring into like Costco and things like that? Are those just like straight from Pokemon, or are those distributors that just deal with the big box stores? How does that work? Do you
It's
know?
distributors that just deal with the big box stores. So there's one in particular that partners with Walmart. I'm trying to remember what the name is. People in the comment section will probably tell it for me. But yeah,
And add on, why do those stocks come at like different times than what you get?
I don't know. See, MJ Holdings. Thank you, Alfred. Yeah, it's like it's hard to know because there's so much up in the air. Because I've talked to stalkers at like Walmart stalkers. They stock my inventory. That sounded weird to say. And they've like not really given me a ton of information, not because they like don't want to disclose anything, but because they don't really know a ton. They're just like, yeah, I work as a stalker for MJ Holding. They basically have supply that I'm supposed to restock at certain days of the week for Pokemon and trading cards. And that's kind of what I do. And I was like, okay, cool. Any more details on when you know what product you're gonna get? And she's like, nope, I just get it. They just give it to me and I just stock it. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't really give you much information. So it's kind of hard for me to really know outside of that why they get certain products at certain times. Is it old supply? Is it new supply? Is it product that they've had for a while, but you know, the warehouses are just now pushing it out from whichever big box is doing so? Like there's just a lot, you know, that goes into it that we don't really truly know.
Yeah, that'd be nice to know. Because it'd be kind of not worrisome, but it'd just be kind of uneasy, like knowing that, oh, so Pokemon does these weird reprints that just go out to the big box suppliers at different times, and I don't know, it's just strange.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, but I mean, obviously the Venusaur is the one that's right now seeing the most retracement. But even then, if you look at the Charizard value, I mean, over a 3-month period, or I should say the last month, it's gone down by 5%. It's not a crazy retracement, even with that. And, you know, looking at the Blastoise, a 6% retracement over the past month. Like, I feel like the Venusaur is definitely taken, I mean, but it's taking the biggest hit of the main three, and the other two, obviously, I mean, being 1% difference because, you know, Venusaur's at 7%, Blastoise 6%, Charizard 5%. So they're all within around 1% range of one another in terms of their prices going down. But it's not like we're seeing like a massive retracement even then with the, I mean, the Alakazam has been going up. The Zapdos has been going up in value. It's really weird because you're seeing mainly the top three are the ones that are kind of starting to finally go down, but even then they're not doing it in a very aggressive way. I mean, the Erica, that one has seen a big retracement. That went down 22% in the past couple of months. So, I mean, I don't know. They're just, there's not really a lot to kind of know because everything is doing something different. It's not like they're all doing the same thing.
And now, guys, like in the chat, I know I'm going to get roasted for bringing this up, but I did share it in the Discord if anyone's in my Discord. So it's no way apples to apples. I'm not trying to compare these apples to apples, okay? But it's apples to apples in terms of money being spent in the hobby, all right? So you have people out there, okay? These are ended within a month of each other. You have a $3,000 auction for a PSA 10 Evolutions pre-release Charizard, not a staff, just a regular Evolutions pre-release Charizard. And then a CGC 10, Gem Mint 10, went for $3,150 of a base set unlimited Charizard. So I get it's not apples to apples. CGC is lower than PSA 10, and I understand it's a pre-release. It's not a set card. But you have people in the hobby now for the same exact artwork, a reprint 16 years later, people paying the same $3,000 for over the original base set Charizard. It's pretty wild, like, to see what's going on with modern. Like, it's no longer like, oh, people buy the modern reprints because they're cheaper. No, people are paying real money for these things now. So I don't know what that means. What do you make of it, Eli?
I don't know what to make of it. It seems like a dumb play to me. I guess it just comes down to rarity because obviously if you're talking about the evolutions Charizard in a 10, there was a ton of concern for print quality. And so it's not exactly the highest pop compared to if you're looking at just base set unlimited or some of the other base sets. So I don't know. It just seems really, really weird to me, but ultimately,
not apples to apples. Like, and again, none of this is apples to apples. It's just talking about the movement of money. I mean, like we have Umbreons selling every day at 13, 14, 1500 now. I think Z&G Emporium posted one at 1650, some crazy auction, and it got paid for. We've got Garatina moving up to $1,000 card. We have modern cards now that are 2 and 3 years old selling for $1,000 to $1,500. And now you're telling us a base set PSA 10 Venusaur is selling for less.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, right?
It's just demand, I guess, at that point. It's just supply and demand.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the population supply anyway of the Venusaur? I actually don't know that.
I'll look it up. It's got to be low. I know, even though it's unlimited, tens were always pretty low. I'll look it up though.
I think I should be able to pull up pretty quick here. Its population is 558.
Yeah, so very low, extremely low.
Yeah. Population always plays a factor. I mean, let's take a look at the evolutions Charizard in a 10. Population for that one is, I mean, it's a Charizard too, so it's going to have higher demand. It's 520. They're around the same pop. It's a modern card though too. People don't realize that. I know at 520 seems high, but for a modern evolution card, that's really low.
I just think like looking at it in terms of, taking rarity, pop reports, taking everything else out of it and just looking at the sheer money. It's like people are looking at the market and saying, I want to put $3,000 or I want to put $1,000 into this card over this card. A card that's brand new over a card that's 25 years old, 23 years old, like go down the line. And it just shows a mentality shift in today's consumer, right? Like evolutions, that's way past the pump days. Like that's not being pumped like alt arts. We are far removed from any kind of evolutions pump, right? People are still, it's stabilized. People are still throwing $3,000 into that card. Like I just think it's very telling of modern market being established and people wanting it and trusting it enough to put that much money to work in it, even when it's not. We lost Eli. Even though it's not as rare and scarce as vintage, I'm sure he'll be back, guys. But I don't know. It's definitely something to consider. What happened?
I actually clicked the wrong button.
You never clicked the red button.
No, I was popping back and forth on Pokédata, and I went to go click the back button, and I accidentally was on StreamYard and clicked the back button, and so it exited me out of the studio. That's my bad. That's my bad, bro. Well, because someone pointed out that it was the pre-release Charizard. I know it's the pre-release Charizard, but from the perspective of I don't have the data for the pre-release Charizard, so I can't pull that up on the population report of it. So for me, I was just discussing the regular Charizard for the population report difference. I mean, if you could pull out the pre-release Charizard data, I just don't know where I could find that. I guess you would have to go to PSA's website directly, but I just want to kind of bring this up. I mentioned that the regular Charizard Holo is in a pop 500, right? I'm curious, what is your guess on the population report of the Mega Charizard?
The full art?
Yeah, in a 10. What do you think?
Oh, that's got to be 18,000.
Oh, way less than that. It's at or right around 10,000.
That's total population, or that's PSA 10s?
PSA 10s.
Yeah. So what's total population?
Oh, total population. Oh, I thought you were saying 10s. My bad. No. Total population for it is around 18,000. Actually, you're pretty spot on with that.
Yeah, I thought I looked it up recently.
Yeah, no, that's pretty spot on. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's wild to think about. And this is obviously once again not the pre-release Zard. This is just the regular Zard. But at one point it did sell for around $6,000.
All right, got it. Charizard pre-release. Yeah, only 83 tens.
Oh, there you go. And this was the 10 you said that sold for that much?
Yeah. But again, like I said, it's less about like trying to compare the pops and the rare. It's just about the fact that people are choosing to spend their hard-earned money on a reprint of the original card that was reprinted 16, 17 years later, just because it has a pre-release stamp and it's got less tens. They're willing to put the same amount of money into that card. I think that's pretty telling. Just like the Moonbryon, there's 11,000 of them. People are putting $1,500 into that instead of a base set Venusaur, right? Like instead of a base set Blastoise, or Blastoise might be more, but like all these other cards that are literally PSA 10s, the same grade. They're way older. They have way less pop reports, all this stuff. It's just showing the shift of the consumer, the shift of the hobby, I think, moving away from kind of the pop report and the rarity and all that stuff, and just spending money on the things they truly want and care about in their collection, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the pop 83 also helps a ton. That's such a low 100%. Pop. It makes sense. I mean, just from a population report perspective, it makes sense, right? It's kind of like the Lord of the Rings ring chase, right? It's a pop 1. It's sold for 2.7, something like that, 2.6. Like inherently population is going to play a huge factor in that, as well as demand. It's just basic supply and demand. But not going too deep into the weeds, let's start answering some questions if people have any. So I should probably mention it too, as always. If you guys don't know, we do giveaways. And also, if you want to enter in, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. And then outside of that, if you want to be a part of the community, of course, join the Discord. And we also want to give you guys an opportunity to get Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Flesh and Blood wholesale prices. All you have to do is join the wholesale program. Links down in the description below for that. If you have questions, of course, message on Discord. But yeah, let's see if there's any questions that people have in general.
Dude, you gotta change up your promo for 2024, man. Like you gotta take out Yu-Gi-Oh! Flesh and Blood. You gotta be like, for Pokemon, Magic, Lorcana, Star Wars. You gotta add in all the I gotta let people know we do care.
I gotta let people know we do carry Lorcana and Star Wars. We're almost there in One Piece. Bandai's finally starting to bleed into some of the other bigger distributors, but by the time that happens, it's probably going to kind of die out. I'm waiting for that to happen. That's the next thing, man. But and then I need to start getting videos ready here. We're gonna get the store open in about, I want to say about less than a month at this point. So I'll be excited to get that. I'll have to post a video before we officially go live showing some of the behind the scenes stuff. But I'm excited, man. All right, let me see about some questions that might be worth discussing. There was one that I saw one person did ask in particular that was interest. God, where was it? Is there one you see? Oh, yeah. This was the question I liked. Is Crown Zenith gone on distro? I just got another case of ETBs, but it seems to be drying up. Alex just bought some.
Yeah, I mean, is it still there? I mean, I just ordered like 4 cases.
Yeah, I just filled your order yesterday, so.
I gotta pay.
Yeah, he's gotta pay.
Eli, the bill collector, is gonna come after me.
How many did you buy again?
I think 4 cases.
Yeah, 4 cases. Before shipping and fees, I think it's selling for 36 in ETB. So, I mean, it's still there. One big thing that one of our distros is doing too, which is kind of weird. Maybe it's because it's cheaper to ship, but they're actually breaking down some Crown Zenith product and selling off the loose packs because they think it's easier.
Which is weird because I was looking into that, but it's the same price, and I'm just like, I would have went the pack route if it wasn't.
Well, it is slightly cheaper. It's $3.50 a pack versus the ETB seal is $3.60 a pack. Oh, yeah, big difference, you know. You're saving you're saving money inherently because not only one are you going to save money on the shipping, that's a big thing you're going to save money on, but then 2, you're also, I guess, saving $10. So I don't know how much you value the promo compared to like, but if you look at the loose pack value compared to the ETB, they're not that far off from one another. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I literally was talking to my rep about it yesterday. I'm like, where are you guys getting these loose packs? And they're like, we're literally just breaking down Crown Zenith product because we just want to move the product for as cheap as possible without having to pay a ton in shipping.
And actually, like this might be. I'm not saying this is a play, but I will just like let you know something I've noticed in this this new wave of Crown Zenith. I've went through, I don't know, at least I would say 5, 6, 7 cases on stream. Pulled 0 Secret Rare Pikachus. Those were extremely easy to hit, in my opinion, in the first wave. Right, 0. I pulled 0 out of like 5, 6, 7 cases. So maybe that's going to be like no more of those are going to come in this next shipment. Maybe that will be a little pumpy in the future. I don't know. I just want to throw it out there.
Shout out to Jason X, dude. It was so funny because he's like he was the one that mentioned about the pre-release Zard, and I was like, he was like, you can just pull it up on the PSA website. I've gotten to the point where I don't know why, but I pull it up from arbitrary sites or Instagram posts at this point compared to going directly to the source. And I always forget I can do that for some stupid reason, but I just think it's kind of funny.
The easiest way, honestly.
He's like, you just pull it from PSA. I'm like, yeah, I should probably do that first, shouldn't I?
The easiest way, I just go to Google and type in like the card and pop report. It's like, because that way it brings you right to the page where it's like, sometimes it's harder to search on PSA's website. It's weird.
Yeah. I saw a question. People are just having a debate on ETB stuff. I feel like we've talked about it so much. I'm kind of over it. Oh yeah, of course. Have you guys seen the Star Wars Chrome did right out the gate? Oh yeah, dude. Are you kidding me?
What'd it do?
I mean, well, just in general with just Star Wars pricing, you haven't seen everything just kind of going crazy.
I mean, I've paid attention to that new TCG, but I don't know the rest of Star Wars stuff now.
Oh, I'm dumb then. I thought that's what he was referring to. Is that different from Chrome?
Chrome, yeah, because other ones, Rise of the Rebellion or something? Yeah, the Chrome's different. I think Chrome's the CCG, right? It's not even a TCG. Am I right, iFOMO? Or who asked that?
It was Average Player.
Average Player?
Yeah, it was Average Player that asked the question. Yeah, read that. Let me know if you see any more information on that. So, because I know at least for the TCG, the Star Wars TCG has been really hot right now. I've been having a lot. I mean, a lot of people have been asking me about that.
Okay, Topps Chrome was released a few days ago. It's not Spark of the Rebellion. Yeah, and Topps Chrome, I believe, or your Average Player, that's just a CCG, right? It's just like almost like movie scenes or like characters on the card. It's not. There's no like gameplay attached to it, if I remember right.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't been following that whatsoever.
It's kind of like Pokemon Topps Chrome, that type of thing.
Do you guys think that pop of alt arts will triple, quadruple, or more, or is most of the product opened?
No, I mean, here's the thing, guys. Like, now that the boxes are getting more expensive, eventually it's going to turn into like Sun and Moon XY stuff where it'll be like a kind of a treat when a streamer rips them. I mean, once these boxes get to 300, 400, 500, you probably won't see them open much anymore. I think people are grading these things in mass right now because of all the money in it. Yeah, I think I would not expect Moonbryon to get to 30 to 40,000 pop. I don't see that happening. Usually in the first 2 to 3 years, that's when the majority of the pop reports is made. And then, yeah, there will be slowly trickling in. Like, I would say like doubling would be like what I'd be looking for, the tops of it. If it like doubled from now until, the next 5 years or whatever. That's my opinion. What do you think, Eli?
I would love to see the population charts. I can probably go to PSA and see that. But I can totally see the I want to say I feel like I can see it doubling. Tripling, quadrupling seems like so much because you're talking about cards that have like 10 to 15,000 PSA 10 population. So that means it'd have to go to 20 to 30,000, which is a lot. But once you start getting into the realm of like 50 to 40,000, I don't know, man. That seems like a lot. That seems like a lot to me, especially as well considering the fact that we realistically don't know how much is left out there, because obviously at the end of the day, there is
I mean, put it
there
this way,
is a
that
new
evolution,
generation.
that
Well,
evolution's mega Charizard you talked about, like having 18,000 total graded, like evolutions was printed, I would say, as much as evolving skies, like not XY, but evolutions in general. That was reprinted like 5 times. There could be as much XY product as there is Sword and Shield product, realistically, maybe less, but so seeing those numbers, like, it just kind of tells me, yeah. And as hard as Moonbrand is to pull, where that Charizard, I've opened cases of evolutions multiple times in the past. I could pull like 2 of those, if not 3 sometimes, out of a case. Like, they're not hard to pull, where Moonbrand's one out of every like 500, 600, 700 packs. And so, no, I don't think we're going to see anywhere near that high of pop reports.
Well, I think for me, and this is extremely speculative, right? I really don't know how much sealed product is sitting out there that is not opened. I don't know. I know that it's obviously hard to pull the Moonbryon, but we also have to think the supply is steadily going to go up as it stands right now. And we realistically don't know how much of these Evolving Skies packs or products are going to be open and graded. That's where, for me, I don't honestly know.
Well, your average player is a good point. Like, look at Champions Path Charizard, the promo. Like, there's no way an alternate R is going to have the same population as that promo.
Yeah.
I mean,
what is the promo on the population for that?
I know it's extremely high. I think it's what, Sword and Shield 050. Am I correct?
So if you want to get a 2024 top Star Wars Chrome Sapphire Edition, it's $3,000. Interesting.
All right, I'm looking at the promo right now on the elite, the Champions Path Elite Trainer box. It's a Sword and Shield promo 050. We are looking at oh crap, 44,610s. 44,000. That's a promo though. It comes in every single ETB.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. Because I don't know how much of that card is still sitting around. I mean, you think
it's
about,
going to top out. I'll go on record saying it's going to top out 20 to 25,000 ever.
It's possible. It's one of those questions where there's so much, like, we don't know. It's hard for me to really answer, but I do feel confident in saying I don't think it's going to 4x, but I think it's possible it could 2x. But yeah, I don't know the answer to that really. Okay, I already answered the question about Crown Zenith being gone at distro. Obviously, there's other conversations. How do you feel about trainer gallery cards pumping like the Umbreon VMAX in Brilliant Stars?
Yeah, so I missed those plays because I was going so heavily after the alt arts, and I thought I had more time on the trainer galleries. I do have a lot of trainer I got some back in an order today, and I have another order at PSA right now with a lot of the lower end ones, like the Lost Origin Charizard, Gengar, Snorlax, Pikachu's, and then like the Brilliant Stars Evolutions. But I wasn't able to make a play on the higher end ones, like the Umbreons and Sylveon V's and V Maxes, or like the Mimikyus, or the higher end Pikachu's on Lost Origin. Like I didn't get into the higher end stuff, and yeah, it's just kind of following suit. Things they're going out of print. Everyone's trying to race, and they're in FOMO because they don't think they're going to be able to get any. Now they're getting higher. They're just kind of following the alt arts. People can't afford a Moonbryon, so they're going to get the next best thing, an Umbreon VMAX from Brilliant Stars. And so it's pretty crazy to see, but it doesn't surprise me at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not really too surprised either. It's just the inevitable evolution of just cards going up in value with desired artworks. Regardless of the rarity there, they're going to go up because of the artwork design.
So that's the second part of that question. I'm going to look it up right now. I'm not.
Do you guys see any other plays like cards in the ST gallery?
Yeah, like, I mean, I know obviously they're Rayquaza, but it's just like, I'm going to look at the overall.
You saw where the alternate Charizard's at right now as well, right?
Yeah, it's moving finally. Finally, right?
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, so I do actually have I do have the Blazikins, and I do have the Rayquaza. As far as the rest of the trainer gallery, I mean, I'm a fan, but it doesn't like the market is a fan of the black and gold cards. But I think that black and gold Rayquaza looks nice.
Well, the regular Rayquaza is also moving too. It's gone up 23% in the past month.
Yeah, I mean that's an obvious play. Like that's like as obvious as the Pikachu V Max from Lost Origin. I think I like the Blaziken V and V Max. I like the Rayquaza.
Is the Pikachu V Max moving right now in Lost Origin? I would be surprised if it wasn't.
I think all of them are just moving, kind of.
yeah, it's moving. It's up 53% in the past month. Yeah, it's moving.
I'm not sure about the rest of these. Like even like the Blissey alt art isn't doing like crazy stuff. So I don't know if the Blissey V trainer gallery is going to really move. Aurora, Superior, Friends and Galar. I don't know. For me, I would say like the Rayquaza, the Blazikins, the Rayquaza Black and Gold, stuff like that would probably be what caught my attention. But
well, you also got to ask the question too. Do we think that it's going to trickle into cards that are just standard border trainer galleries? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe I could be wrong. I mean, I would love to think so, obviously.
It's just like people, the plays there for sure, because people are valuing those 10s so high. Like these $2 and $3 trainer gallery cards are selling for $60 and $70 in PSA 10s. It makes sense to grade them if you can.
Yeah. I mean, what's the Charizard going for from Lost Origin in a 10?
I don't know. Good question. Hey, take a your average player's question. He just reposted it. It's about the Rainbow Pikachu, though. I think that's a good question.
Is it due for a rise or is it capped by total set value? So, I don't think it's capped by total set value at all.
No, and actually, like I actually bought it. So I wanted to get one. I've been waiting, and I finally bought one a little while ago, and it was in the 180s. I paid full market price. I didn't like work any crazy deal. I think I caught it at auction. I can't remember. But I paid like 180, and it's already up back in the 200s. So it is rising. Look, that card was one of the chase cards of its time. I get it's kind of been overshadowed by the alt arts, but I don't think that card can't move in value over time.
So the Charizard is selling at a PSA for a PSA 10. It's selling for like, I want to say $50, but apparently there was two recently sold. Two sold for $80. That's interesting.
But yeah, like $50, and it's a card that's what, like $3?
Dude, what is up with my camera? Are you serious? I went out already. Yeah, no,
here it's a four. Let's see, near mint it's selling for under $4. So I mean, and that's the story of the evolutions right now of a lot of the Gengar. It's like these are $2, $3, $4 cards selling for 50, 60, 70, sometimes more dollars in a PSA 10. It's just the people are valuing that PSA 10 so high, and I don't know how much I agree with it, but I think it's a great play. If you can get your hands on some minty ones, if you guys are going to any local shows or card shops, or if you think eBay's got some good pictures, or if you want to take the TCG player route of just buying mass amounts and sorting them out yourself, see if you can find some gradable copies. I mean, I think there's definitely money to be made there. I mean, give the market what it wants. The market wants $50, $60, $70 PSA 10 cards of $2 cards. That's my opinion.
My opinion is, why does my camera hate me so much?
It's a good opinion. I'll second that.
Just loves it.
Yeah, Shag's talking about the Latios being around 900. There's 900 PSA 10s. And yeah, I mean that card, it's already starting to rebound. I think it's back up into 2000 plus. We are starting to see these XY and Sun and Moon cards we talked about, seeing those dips. They do seem to be finding their bottoms, and some are already starting to rebound off their new lows they set. So that's a good sign too.
What are your thoughts on this?
experimenting. I hope they see the success and bring stuff like that to English. Oh yeah, with the 151. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, guys. Like, as much as I love English, you guys know that. Japanese specialty sets have done better than English ones because, people just like boxes over ETBs, unfortunately. And so, I mean, I think 151 was going to perform good in Japanese anyway. It would be interesting to see how a subset like that does in like a mainline set, right? So I just don't know. Like, I know that's everyone's kind of big thing. They talk about chasing, and that's like the big reason why it's so much better than English. But I don't know if it's just because, Japanese 151 is a specialty set and it was going to be better than English anyway, or if, it's really about that extra chase. But yeah, I mean, obviously it'd be cool. I just don't know how big of a factor it plays. I know a lot of people think it plays a huge factor, so maybe it does. It's just, it's the first time,
Yeah. I think that I can't say for certain it's them testing the market. That's obviously speculative, but it is playing into the just idea of how specific. But see, man, I was gonna say, obviously, when you're looking at what's been successful most recently with One Piece and Magic, when it comes to serialized cards, it could be them testing the waters for certain ways of playing serialized cards. But I feel like you could say that about just rarity in general. So it's hard to really know, but ultimately I could be wrong, right? Because when you've got literally just a Pokeball stamp on cards, like, that should show, at least to some extent, that, hey, Pokemon that just are super rare to find, you can only get one a box, that are just going to have a freaking stamp on it, or certain design of Pokeballs are doing really well. I mean, I remember Opossum Bud, your best friend, he made a video on it talking about the Pikachu, because I think it was selling for like some crazy amount of money when they first came out with the stamps. It was like $1,000.
You know what, man? Like, Opossum, he's made his content about me. I don't know how he feels about me, but you know what? Me and him, went head to head a little bit on the debate last night. But overall, he was a pretty respectful guy last night. He didn't, I had no issues with him. So maybe he's just a different person off of his normal kind of persona he has on his videos on his channel. So I'm not hating on the guy. It's like I don't know why he felt the need to come at me on a couple of videos, but yeah, he's not my least favorite person in the world.
So the people that are asking why I wasn't on the stream,
because Eli's not a YouTuber.
I'm not a YouTuber, guys. Come on, you should know this by now. I'm surprised I even have a YouTube channel at this point. They haven't demonetized me for inactivity. No, I wasn't on it just because I'm just not with the cool kids, man. I'm not like Alex. I just can't do it, man. It's too spicy for me. Debating people is not something I do much. I just get my panties in a bunch if I debate. That's why, obviously.
Eli's like, I don't want to be like Alex and make like 10 times less money for putting out more content.
Oh no, but on a serious note, I guess the reason why I didn't partake in it is because I've got so much going on right now with the store that I'm just super out of everything going on.
Gordon's right. Eli's busy doing CEO things.
Alex is the guy that just keeps me updated on the drama. He's like, yo, did you know what happened, bro? Did you see the stream? And I'm like, what stream? Is like, bro, you didn't know what happened? Bro, it was crazy. I was going ham. I'm like, oh, snap.
I didn't say
more,
that.
dude. He was telling me more. Dude, he was telling me that he actually just set up a pay-per-view fight for him to fight Cool Trainer Ryan. It was insane, dude. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, I'm out of the loop, man.
Dude, if someone could get that on like Jake Paul's undercard, I'm down. And not even because I dislike the guy, like just anyone. It doesn't have to be Ryan, just anybody. I'd love to get a YouTube boxing match in the Pokemon space, right? I mean, Leonhardt got to do it.
Of course, man. What are we doing here? No, and people are saying they'd pay for that fight. No one in the general public would pay for that fight. No one's like some obscure YouTubers that are into Pokemon.
On like a Jake Paul, Logan Paul undercard, and you get some viewership.
Of course. Except the difference is everyone wants to see Jake Paul get punched in the face.
Well, that's why they show up, and then they're already there, so it's like, well, I might as well watch these two Pokemon idiots.
But pay to see. What did that say? Just pay to see a sweaty Eli? Is that what that says? Oh my gosh, that's a new one.
That's on his OnlyFans, man.
Yeah, come on, guys. It's behind a different paywall.
That's where he's really been spending his content time at.
Just saying, you guys don't know. It's coming out soon. But yeah, no, I'm getting the shop ready to roll, man. I'm excited about it. It's gonna be really good. I mean, we still got one other person we're looking to hire. We're getting finished up on signage, hopefully in the next week or two is kind of what the game plan is going to be with that. So the store's coming together, man. I need to start doing a little bit of more marketing though, with the obvious rollout of the store itself, which there seems to be a lot of hype around it, at least in the local area, without us doing much marketing because the closest storefront to us is like 20 minutes away.
The true question is,
Tuki.
what are you going to sell Lost Origin booster packs for?
Booster packs? Sell it for $20. But if you join the wholesale program, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, right. You get it for $2. All right. No, I have no clue, dude. I have no clue what I'm gonna sell it for because by the time we open the shop, it could be $250 a box, bro. We don't even know what's going on at this point with Lost Origin. Plus, I don't even know if I want to sell it as Lucy's. I would want to sell it as boosters, man. Yeah, I'd want to sell it as boosters. That's for sure.
You run a card shop now, though, man. You got to have boosties. You got to have the Lucy's.
Oh, we'll have Lucy's for sure. But I'm just saying that of the Lost Origin I have, I am not breaking it down to sell it off for loose packs. For certain, I'm selling it off as sealed.
Yeah.
I feel like the premium is just too valuable to pass up on that. I mean, I do have some old Lost Origin build and battle stadiums that I can easily break down and sell the packs off there. I've got 3 cases of it because a while ago, I don't know if you remember this, but they were doing a special where they were selling Lost Origin and Silver Tempest build and battle stadiums for $20 a piece. Oh man, that was so sick. It was an average pack price value of $2 a pack. And so someone canceled their order and we just were like, okay, that's fine. We'll just keep it. And so we've had 3 cases of the build and battle stadiums that we've just been sitting on.
What reprints do you guys think will be by the end of the year?
I'd be surprised if we didn't get Paldea Evolved.
I'm thinking like Team Up, Evolving Skies, and Cosmic.
Dude. Base set, come on.
Yeah, I say Paldea and 151. That's if they're gonna reprint sets, it's gonna be those 2, I think.
151 seems plausible. You know what I think is gonna be more?
I don't think they reprint Paldea and Face because it's just so cheap still. Like,
are you ready for this hot take?
Okay.
Obsidian Flames is getting reprinted.
Dude, no way.
Yeah, for sure it's gonna get reprinted.
No way.
Yeah, it's gonna get reprinted. You know why I think it's gonna get reprinted? Because Pokemon loves to always reprint one set that doesn't need a reprint.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, we got a Scarlet and Violet base reprint, which we didn't need. We got a Battle Styles reprint back when the price of Battle Styles boosters was at 110 and it went all the way down into the 70s, which we didn't need, right? Like, Pokemon is going to inherently reprint one booster box that you're like, did we really need to reprint that box? Like, that doesn't seem like it was necessary. So I feel like
actually cool with that. Like,
it's kind of like Shining Fate. Shining Fate's got a reprint right before it went out of rotation, and it finally got up to $50 at MSRP again, and then it dropped all the way down into like the high 30s, low 40s after it got a small reprint.
And I'll give my take. This is gonna be like, I guess, a little bit of a hot take, but I know a lot of people like wait for reprints to move in. Depending on what these get to before the reprint, like I wouldn't expect the old lows. Like I wouldn't expect, oh, Paldea, I've got a reprint, I'm gonna get it for $80 a box. Like you might not, like, so if a reprint happens and you give a chance to move in and you can buy it for a reasonable price, I don't know if I would just keep like waiting on the trigger until it like falls to like obscene lows, because it depends on how much they reprint. And here's the other thing that happens what happens is everyone on the sidelines right now that wants to try to time the market, they're going to immediately say, okay, the reprint's here. Now it's time to put the capital to work. Now I'm going to move in, and that supply will disappear just like Lost Origin, just like Silver Tempest did. And it'll see those lows for a very short time, and then it'll start rising up again. So if you are waiting for a reprint, I would definitely not get too greedy. And if you can get it, maybe like high 80s, low 90s, something like that, I would take it.
Are you ready for the crystal ball?
All right.
I think Paldea Evolve is going to get a massive reprint, and I think it's going to go down into the low 90s, high 80s. That's my prediction. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I say that is because typically speaking, when the Pokemon company does do reprints during the holiday season, they love to dump the product. The only time we didn't see that happen was during the switch over from yellow to silver borders. I think that you're going to just see that come back again. You're going to see just a huge amount of product that's going to be dumped, and then it's going to follow it up by the prices going up as per usual during the springtime. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it go down into like, we'll say high 80s, low 90s, and then going into this time next year, the price went back up to around 110 to 120 a booster. That's what I think. And then you're not going to see another reprint for Paldea Evolved.
People are in the chat waiting for Brilliant Stars reprint still.
Brilliant Stars reprint? I mean, we got a baby reprint, obviously. That was nothing.
So I think like I almost said about the print quality, man. I don't know how other people feel. I feel like I told Eli beforehand, I had my best PSA order I've ever had. So I don't grade Japanese. It's all English. Keep that in mind. English is harder. 37 10s out of 40 cards. So I had 2 9s, 1 7, and 37 10s. And there was some Temporal Forces in there, and I just think Temporal Forces print quality is a lot better. So if that does continue and they finally fix the printers, and they do reprint Paldea, guys, that Magikarp is going to get crushed. That Magikarp is not going to be a $600 PSA 10. Prepare yourself.
I'm glad to see that people like Temporal. I'm glad to see that there's been a lot of positivity around the set.
Yeah, I love it.
You love the set?
I think it's second to Paldea in my book.
I think the Morty's Conviction card is doing about as good as I kind of predicted it was going to do. I think people
I can see it falling more. I could see the 3 legendary beasts like overtake it again. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
It's interesting that Raging Bolt's the most expensive one. I kind of like the Entei the most personally.
What's it in Crown Zenith? Isn't it Raikou there too? I think it's just the most popular one. No, Suicune. It's Suicune. And then Suicune's the least in this. That is weird.
Entei's the least in this one.
Oh, okay.
Holy crap, Suicune's so cheap. Oh my gosh, dude. Crown Zenith is just ridiculously cheap. I know it's not showing it on the price charts, but man. I mean, it was selling at one point for, I feel like, $60-$70. It's crazy how cheap it is. I remember I was making videos a while ago. People were calling me crazy when I said the Giratina was going to go sub 100. And then it went down into the 80s. Where's it
that
right
reprint
now?
has something to do with. That was a massive reprint, though.
Yeah, but like this was before the reprint. I mean, after the reprint, it went down into the 60s. That's, I don't know. It's going to go back to over 100 again. I mean, if someone wants to get Crown Zenith and Master Set, it probably now is a good time to do it.
Dude, I mean, it's like the Jim Cramer thing, dude. It's just like there's always a bull market somewhere. I mean, if you just look around this hobby, there is always something that's a play that's a good pickup.
I agree. All right, let's do a couple more questions and we'll wrap it up. Just because we're already over time as always, and I never know when my camera is going to give out because it's having faulty issues. On the bright side, I did get a new notification on my camera, which I've never gotten before, and it said overheating. So I think there has to be some sort of setting issue with it specifically overheating. So I'm going to look more into that error code, and hopefully that has to do with it. Because why is the camera overheating after 45 minutes? There's probably some preventative measure that I need to go and change in the settings. But we'll do 2 more questions and wrap it up. With reprints coming soon, do you think people will prefer second print runs? It's found to have better print quality, booster box and case wise. I don't know if I would necessarily say that's true, that it's presumed to have better print quality. I mean,
I'm not a first print, second print guy. I mean, there is a portion of the market that's starting to like care and like starting to buy or like, you know, invest based off that, but it's such a small portion. Like most of the market doesn't care, you know, they just want the booster box. Honestly, with some sets you can't even tell. Like, you know, you can tell with, you know, Evolving Skies because it's got different Pokeballs and it's different ways and stuff, but not every set you can even tell once it's out of the case. I know people always say, well, the case that says don't sell before this date and the other cases don't have that. Like, but once the boxes are out of the case on some sets, you can't even tell what's first and second print. So it's not one of those things where it's like a first edition set, you know, unlimited thing. I just think it's something people are trying to split hairs with. I don't know if it's going to be a big investing deal in the future. Here's how it works is if you can find someone out there who's willing to pay more for it, then it was a good move. But I'm just not sure how many people are going to be willing to pay more for a first print, second print box in the future is my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too, yeah. It's not like Evolving Skies got a reprint and prices went up because everyone wanted the second wave. Like it was just Evolving Skies was high.
People actually want the first wave because they think that there's better hits or like a better hit percentage in the first wave, right? It's like,
yeah,
you could play the game either way, I feel like.
Since CTR compares SV to XY, can we do a live where we actually compare the two? When he says CTR, is he referencing Cool Trainer Ryan?
Yeah, so on the stream last night, he just kind of said like we're back in XY, and I've kind of said the same thing. It feels the same, right? It's like we're back to the time where everyone's hating on it, and the sets are considered weak, just like XY sets were, and they're performing, you know, not as well out of the gate, just like XY. So I think that was kind of the comparison he was making. I don't know like how deep that comparison went or what he was saying with it, but I think that's what he meant.
I think that in terms of where we are in time, I think time-wise it makes sense that to compare it. But I think in terms of quality of sets and quality of cards and so many other factors, I think they're vastly different from one another. Because like if you look at the way people treat SV, they're definitely treating it the same as XY, even though SV is vastly better than XY on just many different ways.
Hey, look at the Russell, my Jimmys. Guy on the left seems cool. Guy on the right sounds like a chump. So my question, I guess that's me.
People are just talking smack about you.
Dude, this is nothing new, man. This is nothing.
I know. I had a couple people comment about me not wearing a hat. They're like, "Who's this guy without the hat? What the heck?" Here's an interesting one. We never touched this topic. What do you think about graded packs? Graded packs were such a scam. It's crazy to me, bro. I say they're a scam, but they're not at the same time. Oh man, it's crazy.
I mean, here's the thing, man. It's like if there was graded booster boxes, I think those would sell too. You know, I just think there's always a market for that. You know, another person putting a number on something of how good a condition it is and authenticating it. I think there's just a premium that will always be paid for that. I don't know.
I know. I hate to say it. Like, it feels like such a scam, but also at the same time, that's like saying graded video games is a scam, which it is kind of, but it isn't because I also want a graded video game. So am I the sucker that actually wants a Pokemon Platinum graded?
I mean, the market's there. Like I think at this point, graded pack market's established. I mean, modern graded packs, I haven't followed them and seen how they do, but it seems like the vintage graded packs do relatively well.
Well, also think about it too. What if you're a guy that like weighs packs and you're like, oh, this is a light pack, but it's in pretty crispy condition. I'm just gonna.
They have to all be light, right?
Like you have to, and it's a way you can make a premium off of light packs is by selling them graded. I don't know how big the market is for it. Like you assume that if people are doing it, there's some semblance of market, but I don't know what the demand is particularly.
There's definitely like a demand for like single packs, like the one of each artwork. People like to display those. I mean, people will buy the wrappers. Like people they just want the artwork on the wrapper. So there's definitely a market. And like you said, it makes sense. You'll get a premium off your light pack. Honestly, I mean, I think I can't remember, but I think back in the day, people actually used to try to crack the old graded slabs to try to like open the packs
That's
or
interesting.
reweigh the packs. Like, but nowadays, just expect every single pack in any one of those to be light pack. I would not expect any of those to have a hollow in them.
All right. Last question, and then we'll kind of wrap it up from here. What do you think of Garchomp V from Astral? Only like 10 in near mint listed.
So is that a trainer gallery? No, is that
it is trainer gallery?
Okay. Yeah, I mean the trainer galleries are all like the next thing that are popping up right now. So it makes sense. Garchomp V is a good looking card. It's one of the
But it's weird though, because he's saying there's only like 10 listed in near mint. But it's like if you're looking at the value of it over the past month, I mean it's gone up 30%. I mean it's being bought out. People are buying it.
Dude, the thing about this market right now is prices are rising, faster than we've seen, kind of since the boom, right?
Yeah.
So people, if anyone's been holding these things, they're probably up 50, 100% on some of these cards. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not making their way to the market. That says something, right? That says, okay, people believe in these long term. People are not taking the quick money, the easy free tendies. Something else is going on. Are people just like collecting these and don't care about the price rises? Are people holding, to try to like make a longer term play? Do people not think we're at the tops? Like I'm struggling to figure it out right now. Like I didn't think we'd see an Umbreon over $1,500 this fast. Like but the prices keep going up and the supply just keeps getting less and less on the market. You would think, because what we've been told is, oh my gosh, once people can, make money, everything's going to hit the market and there's not going to be enough buyers to quench the demand of all the sellers. We're not seeing that. We're seeing actually less sellers.
Well, you almost wonder how many people as well are looking at what's going on with the Sword and Shield era boxes and saying to themselves, oh man, I missed the boat when I was able to buy it at like $80. I'm not going to get that 100% margin. Maybe I go get in some of the single cards that I think could pop up in value based on the fact that Astral is now up at like 170 a booster.
Yeah, and there's kind of going down the line. It's like, okay, I see the Umbreons move in Brilliant Stars, and I see, the Pikachu move. Now the Rayquaza's moving. Well, where's next? Oh, Astral Radiance. Let's go. It's just you just kind of move down the line, right? It's kind of like we saw with the booster boxes. We just kept moving down the line. It's like, okay, Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin. Now we're on Silver Tempest. The money is just moving down the line.
Makes sense to me, man.
And Garchomp's, it's a good looking card. It's a good Pokemon.
It's a great card. I'm a huge Garchomp Cynthia fan. I like the card a lot.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Alrighty, I think that's a good stopping point, brother. About an hour and a half. Want to thank you guys all so much for stopping by. As always, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. Really helps the channel. And then if you obviously want to get access to Lorcana Pokemon Star Wars at wholesale prices, make sure you join the wholesale program. Links down in the description below. If you have questions about that or want to be a part of the community, make sure you check out the Discord. And then for Alex with Nostalgianomics, his link is also down in the description below, but you guys should already know that by now. But thank you guys all so much for stopping by. Anything you want to say before we head on out?
That's it, man. It's a good stream.
All right, good stream, everyone. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Peace.